Kitty man, I had a flow. Drip that water, call that boss. You check my squad and they gon' be in cost. You better be prepared to take a loss. I left my enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce. No, it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. No, it ain't sauce. No, it ain't sauce. Yeah, enemies dripping, but it ain't sauce. It ain't sauce. It ain't sauce.
Hello, people. It's your boy Arthur Smitty, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I got something very special for you today. Since after watching Aquaman, the final Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, I think that's, hold on. This is terrible. I have to look it up. Yes, in the Lost Kingdom. I decided, now that we're about to enter the DCU territory, I figured, and I also seen a couple of people give out their opinions on the entire DCEU. I decided, why not I share my opinion with the world on the entire DCEU? And a couple of things, how I feel, what they could have done, where this was actually supposed to go, what the beginning was, how the end was, all that type of stuff. So, without further ado, I'm going to just get into it, and I'm going to just start off with, in the beginning, WB wanted to do this, and it's gonna, before I start, my bad, sorry. I'm gonna do a quick synopsis, I'm gonna be quick on each movie because there are a lot of movies to get through. I'm gonna be quick on each movie, give my piece, and give my pros and cons to it. Yeah. So in the beginning, WB wanted to have a universe, but they didn't think any of their other characters were that good. So they will only make solo projects. They will literally only make solo projects. So that will either just be Batman projects or Superman projects. And they thought that these projects were good by themselves and didn't need to be together. So for a while, they wanted the Dark Knight trilogy was that was the series that really was doing good because you didn't need anyone else. But they also at the time wanted to connect that universe and make it into like a franchise. But Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale wanted that to be their own separate thing. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, they wanted it to be like this after The Dark Knight. I'm pretty sure because you couldn't really do that after The Dark Knight Rises because Bruce basically, like, his whole identity is revealed and he basically killed himself, quote unquote, killed himself. Sacrifice himself, we'll say that. So you couldn't do that. So the actual first official movie that they wanted to start off that universe was Green Lantern. And if you've seen Green Lantern and seen how that played out, that didn't work very well. So eventually, and of course it was a couple of times in the past, in like the 90s, and like the early 2000s, where there was pitches that wanted to make a Justice League movie or wanted to make a universe, but it never got seen the day of light and never moved forward. But eventually we got to where we are with we got to Man of Steel. And in that movie was supposed to set up, that was supposed to be the beginning and then lead down a path of other movies. Now, WB's first mistake is, and this is what everyone mostly says, is their mistake is trying to be like Marvel. And in the case, they do. But I'm going to just start off with how I feel about Man of Steel. So with Man of Steel, and I have my list right here. Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was an okay movie. I think it's okay. I like General Zod. He was pretty cool. But I don't really like the dark and edgy Superman. See, my main issue with Man of Steel is there's no hope. It's nothing. Superman doesn't feel uplifting. He feels, at moments, and this is what they was doing a lot back then because of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. They thought everything needed to be dark and gritty. That's why the Amazing Spider-Man looked the way it did, and that's why no one will admit that, but that's why it was the way it was. Because everyone thought, oh, if we all do that dark and gritty formula, then maybe we all can be successful. But then that never worked. And Amazing Spider-Man ended up changing. Amazing Spider-Man 2 ended up changing. Man of Steel went for a more dark and gritty Superman, and for some audiences it worked, but for some it didn't work. For me, I think the movie is okay, but I don't think it could have been way better. Superman being this dark loner and almost basically being like Batman just didn't work for me. And yes, when the more you watch the movie, you see that Superman did let a lot of people die. Like a lot of people die, and he caused a lot of destruction. And it didn't really look like he saved too many people. But for the most part, I did like Henry Cavill. And let me get the Henry Cavill thing. Henry Cavill, when people say Henry Cavill is the best, I don't get that because he didn't really get to really show his best. Like, based off of the writing and how things were, like, I don't really see how he could be considered the best. Henry Cavill is in my top 5, but he's not. Actually, no. He's actually not in my top 5. Maybe like 5 or 6. I'll have to, when I go through my head. But, like, he didn't really do anything. He embodies Superman. His outside like him, like as a person embodies Superman. His physical appearance embodies Superman. But him in the movies, it never really showed him. Like, I never really got Superman. I never got the uplifting and righteous and hopeful person that I read when I read a Superman comic book or when I watch Christopher Reeve. Like, I never got that from Henry Cavill. Never. He mostly plays like if Batman was Superman. That's how he feels to me. If Batman was Superman. But that's most of like my quick thoughts for Man of Steel. There is a couple of more things I could talk about, like the pacing, Superman just letting his father die. He could have easily saved him. General Zod's plan to destroy. Well, that plan actually makes sense, but it's a couple of other things I could talk about. But for most part, the movie was okay. If I was to rank it, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 6. You know what? 6 out of 10. I don't think it should be higher than a 7. I don't think it should be lower than a 5. It's not terrible, but it's not great, and it could have been a whole lot better. Now, to Batman v Superman. Now, this is a movie where it's like, I just don't. And I'm going to talk about the Ultimate Edition. Even though the Ultimate Edition and the Theatrical Edition, it's not that much different. It ain't really that much differences. But like maybe a couple of added scenes and a couple of more dialogue. But they're basically like the same shit. Like they're the same thing. I don't like this movie. I like this. A long time ago, me and my friends went to the theaters and saw it. I loved the movie when it came out in theaters, but as time goes on and I kept watching it over and over again, then we got the Ultimate Edition. The movie is just not good. It's not good. And for those Snyder fans that wanted this universe to be saved, I'm like, there was nothing good about it that I don't see how you would want it to be saved. Like, it's just... they say Batman v Superman is one of the best out of all of the DCEU movies, which I completely disagree. But I don't see that. Like, it's not there at all. Like, the only thing that's really like in this, okay, Superman is even more dark and broody, and he's sad. The world doesn't love me. Like he's more dark and brooding, and it's just like no. And Superman kills people. Batman is really the only good part about the film, and the fact that we didn't get a Batman movie before we got a Versus movie, kind of was stupid. It was a little stupid. Especially the warehouse scene. That's like literally, I would tell you to just go online. I would not tell someone to watch this movie. I would tell you to go online and just watch the warehouse fight scene. And then that's it. Like, you don't need to watch the rest of the film. The film is not... Now, don't get me wrong. The film isn't boring. But it's just not good. It's not good. Them freaking putting Wonder Woman in here and rushing her in here just to have the Holy Trinity. This movie is 3 plots. This movie has 3 plots. You have the beginning. Actually, no, it's more than 3 plots. You have the introduction to Batman, the introduction to Wonder Woman, the introduction to Superman and Lex Luthor. You have the death of Superman. you have the dawn of the Holy Trinity, and you have the beginning of Doomsday. You have like so many plot threads in this movie they have so many like comic books trying to be in this one movie. Like it's just clashing with each other. Like it's like it just doesn't work. Like you have so many things going back and forth that the pacing and like the whole story is just all over the place. And with the whole Martha scene, I got what Zack Snyder was trying to do. He was trying to make a connection between Superman and Batman, so Batman could finally open up and just be like, "Oh, I had a Martha. I feel for you, man. We connect. Like I lost my I lost my mother named Martha, so I gotta help you so you don't lose your Martha." I get that. Like I felt that, but the way things were going on, it just no. And then Batman also kills people. He also kills people. And I don't want to hear this. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. Yes, Michael Keaton killed people. Yes, all the Batman from from Adam West to actually George Clooney surprisingly didn't kill anyone. To I would say even Christopher Nolan killed people sometimes. The difference with back then is that Batman back then didn't really have any dark movie presence. Yes, there was comics like The Dark Knight Returns and The Killing Joke that really displayed Batman not killing people and his rule. But when it came to movie-wise, Batman just wasn't overall taken seriously. So they just went and got a director, Tim Burton, that would take him as serious as possible and then made it where he was so gritty, he just happened to kill people. And that was around a time when Batman we needed to get Batman on screen to show how dark and his presence could be. So that is completely different. We are now in a time where if Batman kills people, that is just wrong. Like that's just completely wrong. That's completely wrong. It was a little bit forgiving back then. I ain't saying you should forgive for what some of the stuff Michael Keaton's Batman did, but it was completely different from back then to now. We are clearly at a moment where Batman should just not kill and just not use guns. At all. This man, Batman, you could have said Zack Snyder was trying to make it where he was being dark, but no. Batman is literally driving around in a car, blowing people up, shooting people, and literally blowing up flamethrowers in people's faces and letting them get caught on fire. Yeah. But that's all I have. That's most of what I have for Batman v Superman. I might actually do a video that dives deeper into Batman v Superman because I actually have a lot to say about this film and its problems and all of its issues. And I'm not even going to touch Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor because the movies, it shows for itself. Like, he was a terrible choice. I don't know why he thought playing a Riddler version type Lex Luthor was going to work or be good, but yeah, no. And this is actually where we kind of basically stop for the Zack Snyder stuff. Because after this, we get Suicide Squad and then we get Wonder Woman. And then you get Joss Whedon's version of Justice League. So with Suicide Squad, well, before I get to Suicide Squad, let me just say that, I got to rank. I forgot. I almost didn't rank Batman v Superman. I give Batman v Superman a 4 out of 10. It's like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. Honestly, you can watch it. You might enjoy it better than I did. Really, the only reason why I think this movie did good or made money is because it's a versus movie and because Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are in it. And no matter what you put them in, people are going to go and see it. That's the only 2 reasons why that's why I think it made money, because versus movies always make money. And it had the Holy Trinity. So, and we saw some Doomsday. The trailers for the movie just ruined everything. But yeah, I would not rank this movie higher than a 5. Like, honestly, if you wanted to rank this movie lower than a 3, I would say, yeah, kudos, yeah. But I give it like a 4, like a 3, 4 out of 10. So for Suicide Squad, this is kind of iffy for me. It's kind of the same thing with Batman v Superman. Really, for Suicide Squad, the only thing that I liked was Will Smith as Deadshot. I think that was a really good casting because you made Deadshot. You made Deadshot as Will Smith now, so you're going to have all the charisma and all the coolness to come with Deadshot now. And then Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is just the best. Honestly, they're the only two reasons I go and watch that version, the original version of Suicide Squad. That's the only reason why I watch it. Other than that, the movie is trash. The movie is trash. The movie literally debunks itself. Literally, Amanda Waller gets Enchantress, right? And Enchantress has all powers of the gods. She can pretty much do everything. But Amanda Waller wanted to get other normal human beings when she didn't really need anyone else. She could just use Enchantress. And then, basically, from how I see it, if Amanda Waller never assembled the Suicide Squad, then Enchantress would have never got loose, and Enchantress would have never been taking over the city. Because really, Enchantress was supposed to be a part of the Suicide Squad, but because she wanted to show off how she can control the villains and show like what powerful villains out there can do, she basically let a killer on the loose, and then she calls the other people to come and help. And I'm just like, if you would have never formed the Suicide Squad, none of this would have happened, and you could have kept the Enchantress in her cage, and that would have just been it. That would have been it. And they do the whole like apocalyptic thing way better in James Gunn's version anyway. So this film kind of just yeah. As for Jared Leto's Joker, listen, for the ladies out there, if you like Jared Leto's the Joker because he generally looks good and looks appealing, that's fine. That's fine. I get you. I understand. You like the tattoos. You like how he was talking. You like his sex appeal. You know, I even gave some people a pass for Jared Leto and Morbius. Some of the ladies for that. I get that. But guys, Jared Leto is an awful Joker. He's a terrible Joker. That was the dumbest decision ever. I don't know where he got inspiration from, or what the interpretation was. It looks like they was trying to have Jared Leto look like how the Joker looks in Dark Knight Returns, just how Batman's like suit design looks just like in Dark Knight Returns. But for the most part, that Joker is still better. The Dark Knight Returns comic Joker is still better. And this version it didn't take any of the good elements from that Joker besides the white jacket. That was about it. Other than that, he just and he was kind of like pointless in this film. I mean, I don't know what the actual like director's cut that we supposed to have gotten would have been like, where it had cut out all these extended scenes of Joker and Harley. But from what we got of him, it just no. So really, for this film, it's kind of just whatever. It's over the place. The one thing I will say, the four things I will say is, once again, Harley is good in this film. Deadshot is good in this film. Those are really the only two reasons I would tell you to watch this film. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, she really embodies Amanda Waller. Like, every time I see her, it's either, for me, she's either the woman king, the mother from Fences, or she's Amanda Waller. Those are like the three characters I know Viola Davis as, and she kills all three of them. Is Amanda Waller, and the marketing for this movie was through the roof. I personally think Suicide Squad had the best marketing out of any DCEU movie. Like, when it came to the music, it came to the trailers, it came to the billboards, it came to like literally everything. The toy, like they had, like this film had like everything. Like, and this film made money. Like, it generally made a lot of money. It just didn't do well with audience and critics. But the marketing for this film was amazing. I can't even like lie about that. That shit was good. And then as for like anything else in Suicide Squad, I mean, Batman is in it, but Batman coming up to Deadshot with his daughter in front and trying to arrest him just didn't feel like something Batman would do. Like, it just felt weird. Like, I don't think Batman would ever do that. And then you had Flash in there for like a quick second, and then, you know, whatnot. Yeah. Overall, the Suicide Squad for me, I give it like a 5. I wouldn't rank it below a 3. I think. Alarm. Yeah, it's like a 5. Yeah, like a 5 out of 10. Yeah, a 5 out of 10. That's what I would rank it. Next is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman is actually surprising. Wonder Woman is a good movie. It's a really good movie. Really, my whole issue with Wonder Woman is really, and this is probably like majority of people's issues, is the ending. The ending is really what makes the movie like, you had to do that. You had to go there with the whole like ending CGI fight with Ares and whatnot. Yeah, but for the most part, if you just zone out during that, like the whole third act, like that whole final, then the movie is good. Like I don't have no issues with Wonder Woman. Not really. I mean, there is some stuff that drags, especially some of the fish out of water moments with Wonder Woman and Steve. But for the most part, I thought the movie was good. This displays a really good origin. And the other thing I will say about this movie, and this is more so in Wonder Woman 84, and I'll get to that later. I don't like that her movies constantly, like, they take place in the past. I don't like that. But for the first movie, it made sense. For the first movie, it made sense. For the second movie, I'll get into it once we get there. But for the first movie, I mostly just didn't like that it took place in the past. I thought that we could have, you could have showed like a quick flashback of some of the stuff she did in the past, and then we just made some stuff in the present. Because really, most of the stuff Wonder Woman does is like in the present. Like all of her like cool adventures with all her main villains are in the past. Like all her main villains that she faces and that you see in like the comics and like other TV shows, she only faces them in the past. None of that is like current events. So that was like some issues that I had. But for the most part, I like Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was good besides the ending. I would give Wonder Woman like Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She embodies Wonder Woman. I'm actually set. That's probably the only member out of all of them that I want to see come back. Henry Cavill, I want to see him come back and have good writing, but it just seemed like that wasn't going to happen. Ben Affleck, he just couldn't fucking decide if he wanted to stay Batman, quit. He kept going. I understand he was going through something at the time, but bro, make up your mind. Do you want to be Batman or do you not want to be Batman? Ezra Miller, you see how that goes. Jason Momoa, he's better as Lobo. I love him as Aquaman. Don't get me wrong, but he's better as Lobo. And Ray Fisher, may he rest in peace, as Cyborg. Great Cyborg. Never really got an opportunity. But Gal Gadot, out of them all, was really the one I was like, okay, I want to see her come back. She is good. I want to see her come back. But I'll give the first Wonder Woman movie, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I get an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And then, like, by the ending, you see this part where she's about to go and help Batman and Superman fight Doomsday. And that's, like, the very, like, end scene. So, yeah, I'll give her an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I wouldn't go below. It could be a 9 for some people, but I wouldn't go below a 7. Below a 7. I think it's an 8 out of 10. I think that's a perfect rating. Now, really, this is where it starts to go nuts. This is where it was just like the DCEU just fell, and that's when it was over forever. It was over forever. This is Joss Whedon's Justice League. I'm gonna get to Zack Snyder's Justice League later. This is Joss Whedon's Justice League. So Zack Snyder, I think his daughter committed suicide. I think someone committed suicide. I'm sorry that had happened to Zack Snyder. I'm really sorry that had happened to him. He had to leave set and go deal with some family emergencies, and WB handled that in the worst way possible. They made it seem like Zack Snyder wanted to quit and just leave and give up when that wasn't the case. He was dealing with some family stuff, and I really hate the original Warner Media for acting and treating him like that. That was terrible. That was really bad. So because of his departure, they called in Josh Whedon. Now, listen, Josh Whedon, I'll give him his props. Josh Whedon made the first Avengers movie. He did a really good job on the Avengers movie. He did a really good job. I like the first Avengers movies, even though there are some problems I have with the Avengers movie. There are some. But for the most part, the Avengers movie was really good. Now, WB thought that, oh, we got Josh Whedon. So if he made the Avengers good, he can make the Justice League good. He can make the Justice League good. And so, even though for the MCU, they already had made an Iron Man movie, they made 2 Iron Man movies, they made a Hulk movie, they made a Thor movie, they made a Captain America movie, and they had introduced Black Widow in Iron Man 2, and they had introduced Hawkeye in Thor. So all of the main Avengers were established. They was already established. So we was good. For DCEU, they thought Joss Whedon was just going to make the Justice League good without like any like build up or whatever. We got one Wonder Woman movie. That was probably the best movie out of this phase 1, I'll call it. And you didn't give Batman a movie. So Batman was just, I don't care what you say, Batman v Superman is not his first. That's not a Batman movie. That movie is a versus/team-up movie. Basically a Justice League movie in a way. Because they show them trying to form, Batman sends files to Wonder Woman trying to form the Justice League. So that's basically a versus/team-up movie for me. Superman had one movie to really like get, like we was getting him going, but he needed a second movie to like really like okay, we got him as Clark Kent. Now he's about to, we're about to have the dynamic between Clark and Superman. We needed another movie for that. Instead, Superman dies in Batman v Superman. That was the dumbest thing to do. You killed Superman off in his second appearance. That was the dumbest thing to do. And now you're just left with Batman and Wonder Woman. Batman still hasn't gotten a movie, but Wonder Woman got a movie. And then you're going to introduce the Flash and Cyborg. So now you have to do like quick origins and quick establishments for those 2 characters. And Josh Whedon was going to have to make these characters all good. Now, based off of how the movie came out, you can see it didn't work that way. This movie is just trash. It's like it's just trash. You can tell that there was 2 visions going on here. 2 visions going on, and there's a conflict between these 2 visions. Because stuff doesn't even click. It doesn't even add together, like at all. Like not at all. For the most part, all of the Justice League members act so out of character, and they act so like upbeat and lighthearted. And based off of how Man of Steel was, Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman, and Suicide Squad, this was a very dark and gritty looking universe. Like there was no color or anything. And not saying I didn't want the color, but it was a dark and grittier, because the Dark Knight trilogy succeed with the dark and gritty stuff. So every other superhero, including the ones that are lighthearted, got to be dark and gritty. He basically just made the Avengers, but put a Justice League sticker over it. Like, that's basically what he made. And it just doesn't even work. It doesn't work for these characters at all. 2, it doesn't work for this universe because that's not how the universe is been established. It wasn't established as an uplifting, jokey, and fun. That's not what this version Zack Snyder was trying to do. Like, that's not at all what he was trying to do. And in the movie, it just doesn't. It just. I'm stuttering. Like, it just sucks. Like, Batman is a joke in the original Justice League. Like, he's a joke. He's not even. Batman, if you watch like Justice League Unlimited, Batman does so much for the Justice League, you wouldn't even know. You would think Batman generally just sits by and does nothing as the heavy hitters go in and fight. Like, Batman does so much. He does nothing. He is a punchline. He gets thrown around and he's jokey, and it's just like, no. Batman's jokes are, Batman does like jokes, unintentional funny jokes. Batman is not a jokester, okay? They pushed this relationship between Batman and Wonder Woman, whatever. I like Batman and Wonder Woman being together, but not like this. Superman had to resurrect Superman. Yeah, because Superman died. It's then you have to do a quick synopsis of Flash and Cyborg because the movie is only 2 hours. So the movie just feels like it's rushing, and it's just overall forgettable. Like that's pretty much all I can say. It's just it feels like it's rushing, and it's just overall forgettable. Basically, yeah, it's just overall forgettable, and it feels like it's rushing. Josh Whedon, they still try to blame Zack Snyder for this, and eventually we would get the Snyder cut because fans kept, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like the Snyder fans, because the Snyder fans keep trying to push like their stuff, and eventually we got the Snyder cut, which was a better version, at least I think, and it did some good things, but after a while, the Snyder fans started to get annoying, and now they're at a point where they're just mad that their universe is gone, even though their universe was never good to begin with. But yeah, Josh Whedon's version, it's just trash. It's not good. I would never watch that film again. It is forgettable. No, that film, to me, I think that is the worst DCEU movie. This is the worst DCEU movie. If you're counting Josh Whedon's Justice League in it, that is the worst DCEU movie. That movie gets like a 3, like a 2 or a 3 for me. If you rate it an 8 or a higher or anything like that, something is wrong with you. That movie is garbage. That movie is the worst. No. Never. That's something I will never watch again. All right. On to Aquaman. These next like 3 ones, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, they're gonna be quick. Aquaman, I liked it. It was a good film. Yeah, I liked it. It had some issues. The film wasn't really scared to be comic booky and be nerdy and be outrageous and all over the place. It gives that, how Aquaman really is. He wears the bright yellow, green, Yeah. Just like Thor though, Aquaman is different in every single film. He is different in every movie. You can't tell me that Thor in his first 2 movies is the same Thor in the Avengers movies and is the same Thor in Thor Love and Thunder. All of those is the same Thor in Thor Love and Thunder and Thor Ragnarok. All of those Thors are completely different. They're completely different with completely different writing. And that's the same for Aquaman. Aquaman is different in Josh Whedon's Justice League. He's different in his movie, and then he's different in Zack Snyder's version, and then he's completely different. He's basically how Thor is in Thor Love and Thunder, how he is in Lost Kingdom. But for this movie, I liked him. He was fine. He was badass. Jason Momoa brought that. He made Aquaman cool. Like, I ain't gonna lie. That was probably one of my favorite parts about Josh Whedon's Justice League. They made Aquaman cool. Like, he had the long hair he looked like Jesus. He had the yellow and green suit now. He was kicking ass. He didn't give a shit about nobody was in his way, and then he became the king. It was cool. It was cool. I liked it. My only problem with Aquaman is Black Manta's motivations kind of get stupid as time goes on, and the more I watch it, like his motivations get worse, especially once you get to Aquaman 2. Like, his motivations for why he wants to kill Aquaman and be evil is just stupid. Ocean Master is probably the best out of these movies, and when it comes to character, but that's. He was fun. And the fight scenes, that's one thing I will always give DC is the fight scenes. Their fight scenes are amazing. I think they do fight scenes way better than Marvel. I'll always say that. But for Aquaman, I'll give it I'll give between a 7 or an 8. 7 or 8. I don't think the first one was bad. I don't think it was bad. Not at all. It has some issues, some pacing problems, some story elements I was like, but for the most part, it was good. I liked it. 8 out of 10. Shazam, this is going to just be quick. Shazam, probably one of the few good movies out there. The few good DCEU movies out there. this movie is good. It's fun. It gave us a break from the dark and grittiness. Same thing with Aquaman. It gave us a break from the dark and grittiness. An actual good break from the dark and grittiness compared to Justice League. Because once Justice League comes, excuse me, once again, that's when all the movies just go to shit. That's when the movies start getting all over the place. Nothing is connecting, and we're just boom, 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 movie. Shazam is good. I like Zachary Levi as Shazam. Yeah, I don't really got too much to say about that. The movie was good. It was really good. I actually liked it. It was fun. It gave us an uplifting, an actual Superman that is happy and can be heroic for once. Yes, it give us that for real. The only issue I have with Shazam, or let alone the Shazam movies, is that these mid-credit scenes and these end-credit scenes and the way these movies set up like a universe and like all this other stuff, and then they leads to nothing and doesn't go anywhere. That's where all my issues lie. That's where most of my issues lie. Yeah. But for most part, Shazam was good. I'll give Shazam a 9 out of 10. That movie was good. Really good. What's next? Birds of Prey. Okay. People are going to hate me. They're going to hate me. I actually like Birds of Prey. There's some people that don't like it. They don't like I still haven't figured out exactly what this word means. They don't like some of the wokeness, whatever, yeah, and some of the female stuff. But I thought when the movie was focusing on Harley Quinn and all of that, I actually kind of liked it. It wasn't bad. The ratings for the movie weren't even like, I think it got like a 76. It was like exactly even. I think it got like a 76 for audience and then like a 75 for like critics. Like it was like even. The movie was okay. It just didn't make money. It just didn't make money. Aquaman was like probably the best DCEU ever got, making $1 billion. We will still never figure out how it did that, but yeah, that was like the best money wise. Suicide Squad was the best marketing wise. Birds of Prey, I mean, I thought Harley Quinn was pretty good, but the movie just didn't make money, and a lot of people just had they just didn't like it. Really, all this stuff with like my issues really go with Cassandra Cain, like the rest of the Birds of Prey. First of all, the title is too long. You should have just named it Harley Quinn, and that should have been it. It shouldn't have been called Birds of Prey. I'm not even going to attempt to say the title. It should have just been called Harley Quinn. Actually, at one point, they did just call it Harley Quinn because the title was too long. Or they had just called it Birds of Prey. Because I don't know who in the crew, the department was like, let's make this title long as hell. That was the dumbest idea ever. But when it was talking about Harley Quinn, it was pretty good. My major issues were really with like Cassandra Cain, how they did Cassandra Cain, Black Canary, Renee Montoya, that stuff. I was like, but I don't like. Why'd y'all make Cassandra Cain like? No, you don't do that to Cassandra Cain. No. Black Canary is okay, but her being a henchman for Black like Mask and like no. Renee Montoya was basically like the most normal like out of them all, and I think I'm missing someone else, but Huntress. Huntress was okay. She was alright. The movie is it was but for the most part I liked it. It wasn't bad. It was okay to me. And during this time, this was when Ben Affleck was going through his mood swings. He didn't know if he wanted to be Batman or not. So a lot of this takes place in Gotham. And it's like, where the hell is... And Harley Quinn and all these villains are like blowing shit up and causing crimes. And there's like no superheroes to stop them. Especially like Batman is not around because of Ben Affleck in all his situations. So it's like... Where's Batman? Like, there's no one here. And then Jared Leto was just gone as the Joker because no one liked him as the Joker. So you couldn't have Jared Leto show up because this movie was basically about Harley Quinn becoming her own and branching off from the Joker. But you didn't really get that, so they had to tell it in like animation since the Joker isn't even around. And you don't even... you don't even really like. You don't even really like. Even the animations don't even look like Jared Leto's Joker. Like they were trying to forget about him as much as possible. But for this movie, I would say like on a good day, it's a 5. It's like a 5 or it's like a 5. On a bad day, it's like a 4. It's like a 4. You know, it could be moments where it could reach maybe a 7, but I feel like that would be pushing it. That would be pushing it. But for the most part, it's like a 5. It's like a 5. The movie was Oh boy. We're here. You made it through halfway. Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 1984. This movie is just trash. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not good. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. Yeah, it's just trash. It's just trash. Maximilian, just him giving the wishes shit is just stupid. This is another movie where I'm like, dude, this is where my time travel thing came in. Cause like, why are we going? Wonder Woman shit takes place back. We're going even farther back in time. Wonder Woman 1984 takes place like a couple moments after, like a couple, maybe a month or so, like after, like a couple moments after, like the first Wonder Woman movie. And in this film, she's completely different for how she was in her film and how she's going to be in the Snyder film and how she was in the other films. And then you have this whole thing with Cheetah, and they're doing this whole shit again, where everyone has to be a dorky nerd, dorky nerd with glasses, and they somehow get this source of power that makes them powerful, and they end up being better and beating on the hero. We've seen it with Max Dillon. We've seen it with the Riddler. We've seen it with Adult Killian in Iron Man 3. Like all these people that try to mimic how Edward Nygma was in Batman Forever don't actually get what made how Jim Carrey did that so special. Like they don't actually get what he was trying to do and how that made it so special. So for them to do this again in Cheetah and not do it right, it just no. Nah, I can't. Maximilian in the wishes thing just got stupid. Cheetah looked ridiculous. Yeah, this movie, I give this movie like a 2. Like a 2. I don't like it. I don't like it. I used to. Maybe I did at one point, but I don't like it. Garbage. The Suicide Squad. This is a quick one. This is probably one of my favorite DCEU movies. James Gunn never fails. He hasn't failed me yet. This movie is good. I love it. My only issue is that Will Smith is gone as Deadshot. That was my only issue with the movie. Other than that, I have no issues with it. I love it. It was good. And I'm going to just add Peacemaker onto this. I love Peacemaker. I thought that was perfect. That was good. Had no issues with it. I love the stuff they did with Starro. I did like Idris Elba as Bloodsport. He was good. That was really my only nitpick was that where's Will Smith as Deadshot? I missed that. And apparently he was supposed to come back, but he was busy doing other stuff. And then we was supposed to get Suicide Squad 3 where he was supposed to come back, but I don't know how or what's going to work with that. So yeah, but for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, most of the good DC movies don't really make that much money for some reason, but the bad ones did make money. I don't know how. Well, there are some bad ones that didn't, but yeah. The Suicide Squad, I give it a 9 out of 10. That movie was good. I like that movie. Black Adam. Boy. Shit. We're gonna get through these. Black Adam is garbage. No, it's garbage. I don't know why The Rock could have been any other superhero with a past. With any other supervillain or superhero with a past that he could have made cool. But instead he chose to do Black Adam, who instead is not Black Adam is an anti-hero, but he's not really anti-hero. He's a villain. And for that same reason, Black Adam is the reason why the DCEU failed again, and it's also why Shazam! Fury of Gods is trash, because The Rock didn't want to be connected to Shazam, even though he's this fucking Shazam villain, and instead wanted to bring back Henry Cavill, which actually backfired on him because now none of that is happening, and now The Rock tries to act like this movie doesn't even exist. And we basically butchered Henry Cavill's return. And now either he's going to come back as another character or who knows. But yeah, Black Adam is trash. The only character I liked in Black Adam was really Dr. Fate and Hawkman. Those were probably the best characters. Black Adam was the worst character in his film. The Rock needs to stop playing The Rock in his movies. He needs to actually try to be an actor for once. This movie is garbage. This movie gets a 1 out of 10. It gets a 1 out of 10. This movie is garbage. Don't watch it. The action is good. Me being generous, me on a happier day, it might get a 3 out of 10. But today, it gets a 1. Because I just remembered all the problems with it. It's a 1. The movie is garbage. Don't waste your time. Don't even waste your time. Garbage. This is another one where I might actually go into depth about it. But most part, garbage. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. What can you really do? Shazam's main villain is gone, so what can you really do? You have nothing left to do except make shit up. You gotta get these 2 old ladies to be the villain. That's really all I gotta say. You do a Wonder Woman cameo to try and make it seem like something's gonna happen, or make it interesting, but no. You had the end credit scene with the caterpillar in both movies, and they both lead to nothing. We never even saw a build-up or anything with it. Waste of time. Black Adam is part of the reasons why I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods failed. I did a review on Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Go and watch it. Yep. And Black Adam. Yep, go and watch it. The Flash. If you want to know my full opinions, go. I did a couple of these reviews already, so go and watch them. The Flash, The Flash is what you make it. The original Flash, the Flash has been changed. The crazy part is the Flash was supposed to come out before so many other multiversal movies, which lets me to believe if the Flash came out when it was supposed to come out and it was actually supposed to be like Flashpoint with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne Batman, and we actually was going to get the Atlantean and Themyscira War, then maybe this movie would have been actually good. Or maybe if we would have got the other version where Thomas Wayne Batman and Michael Keaton Batman were going to be in the film, then maybe it would have been good. But what we got was okay. And because of all the overhype and people and Ezra Miller's problems, the movie just fell flat. And the rating I gave it was a 7 out of 10, and it still is a 7 out of 10. So that's really all I have to say for The Flash. Blue Beetle, one of my favorites. That's probably the best. I don't care what no one says. I will defend this movie. This movie is the best out of DC that year. That's the best. One of the best in the DCEU/DCU. Love Blue Beetle. Really good movie. I think I gave either eight between a 7 and a 9. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Go watch my review. The movie is it just wants to be forgotten as quickly and just end the DCEU as quickly as possible. The movie is bleh. Go watch my review. I don't remember the rating I gave it, but go watch my review. Yeah. So that's pretty much my ratings for. I think I gave a 4, between maybe a 3 and a 5. But yeah, that's my for Aquaman. But yeah, this was my review on all of the DCEU movies. My favorite movie, I think the best movies out of all of this. Oh, I'm tripping. I forgot Zack Snyder's Justice League. How could I forget about Zack Snyder's Justice League? That movie is really good. I'll do a quick synopsis on it. That movie is really good. Because in my list, it's like not showing because they don't really count it. Because you would technically get rid of Josh Whedon's version and put his Zack Snyder's version. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was good. I give it like a 7 out of 10. The movie, it basically was just showing us what we could have gotten if the movie was actually successful, possibly, and if we had all of the extra end credit scenes. But it was basically there's a combination of all the stuff that we're never going to get to see, like Martian Manhunter, the apocalyptic war between Batman and the rest of the heroes that are left against Superman. Joker, Jared Leto's Joker is still bad. Like, the pacing was a little all over the place. It drags a lot since it's a 4-hour cut. So yeah, it's based. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's okay. Would I watch it? Yes. Again, yes. But it would take me a couple days or moments, like times, to actually watch it. But yeah, I give it like a 7 out of 10. I actually do wish we actually got his original cut. I still wonder what that actual like original version he was making going to be like. But for the most part, Cyborg and Aquaman are the best for me in that film. Batman got treated better, and you know how Superman is the same. It's just he got his black suit. So yeah, 7 out of 10. But like I was saying before, I just forgot about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think the best movies are Blue Beetle, Shazam, and probably The Suicide Squad. I think those are the best movies out of DCEU. I think those are the best ones. They're the only ones that don't have like major problems or like consistent like issues. Everything else was just bleh, either meh or just terrible. For me, I would tell everyone out there, if you're gonna watch the DCEU, this is what I would tell you to do. I would tell you to watch Man of Steel. I would tell you to watch Batman v Superman. Then I would tell you to watch Suicide Squad. Then I would tell you to watch Wonder Woman. Then I would tell you to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then I would tell you to end it off with The Flash. And then after that, you can choose what to watch, because that's really the only order that makes sense. And if you watch it in that order, then it will make sense. But other than that, the other movies just don't really matter. Blue Beetle, you can just watch in your own time. Shazam, you can watch as his own thing. Same thing with the Aquaman movies. Really? And Batgirl was going to be trash. So we're not even going to... shit. Batgirl was going to be trash, so we're not even going to talk about that. As for the DCU, I hope it succeeds. I hope it does well. Really, now that we got rid of the old DC, because the old DC was going to try and make a DCU where we were just going to have Batgirl, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl. I was not going to like that. Flash was going to have multiple Flash got cut up multiple times. Same with Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. So we don't know what those original versions were going to be. Another version of Justice League was going to have the Crisis was going to be Crisis. Zack Snyder's version was going to have Batman die in the second part. They was going to have Batman and Lois get together, which I wouldn't have liked. It was just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Really, the old WB is to blame. Zack Snyder is partially to blame, because yes, they WB are the ones that pick Zack Snyder, so they knew what they was getting into. They can't fully blame him for all of that. If you watched his other movies like Watchmen, you knew his style, you knew what you was getting into. They can't sit there. WB couldn't have sat there and act like they didn't know what they was going to do or what was going to happen. That's who you picked to lead. They didn't have like a Kevin Feige figure, so that's also an issue. Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here and act like Zack Snyder didn't cause problems, because he did make Man of Steel. He did make Batman v Superman, and he did, even though they rushed him to make a Batman and Superman movie without establishing anything else, he did give us a terrible depiction of Superman dying, a terrible depiction of Doomsday, and a terrible depiction of Lex Luthor. So he did do some bad, but it's not fully his fault. It's mostly WB's fault and what they were trying to do, just trying to rush along to make money, just to be just successful as Marvel without actually building the parts to lead up to being successful, and just try to just be successful off rip. And that's what led to the James Gunn stuff, the David Zaslav, and to the whole original Warner Media just getting kicked out. So that's really how that goes. But yeah, for the DCU, I'm wishing for the best. I think we have a couple of things coming out this year, like Creature Commandos, but Superman Legacy will be like the really big one. I hope James Gunn succeeds. It looks like he's going to succeed. I saw the casting; he's doing good. Really hope this set of DC movies is good, because if we fail again, I don't think we're ever going to get another DC universe. So really hoping for the success. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.